Hi, so in this video we will be working on using context, which is in the Reader's Notebook. It's on page 27 if you came and picked up your Reader's Notebook. So uh, this worksheet is about figuring out which of these words fit into the blank using clues in the context, okay, using clues that they give you in the sentence. And it helps a lot if you know what the words mean to begin with. So let's go through that first. The first word is energetic, and energetic just means having a lot of energy. So you could say fourth graders are energetic. When you are sick, you're probably not very energetic. Okay, homesick sounds just like it is, right? If you're homesick, you are sick for home. You've been away, maybe for too long, maybe it's your first time away from home and you just feel like going home. You miss home, okay? Grateful. If you're this is a synonym for thankful. If you are grateful, you are glad to have something, you appreciate it. Okay? You understand that it has value to you. Generous. Generous means that you give freely. So like someone who is generous is willing to give part of what they have to help someone else out, and they're not worried so much about like, will I have enough? They give without a lot of concern for themselves. Okay. Negative. Negative can mean a few things. Negative can just mean no. Like in the military, they say negative instead of no. Yeah, there's a negative end of a battery. So it can have to do with a charge on something, negative. And it could also have to do with a test, like a COVID test. If you get a negative test, that means you don't have that, or something was not in the sample that they tested, right? If you have a sick tree and you test it for a certain disease and the test comes back negative, it did not have that disease, okay? Relative. Relative is another multiple meaning word. So a relative can be a person that I'm related to. Sam is my relative. My dad, his name is Max, he's my relative, right? I have cousins, they're my relatives. Relative can also mean compared to. So like, let's say I'm going down the highway and I am driving 75 miles an hour, which is pretty fast for me. But if everyone around me is driving 80, then relative to the people around me, I am driving slowly. Okay, so relative can have to do with comparison. If I'm 6 foot tall, when I'm around fourth graders, I'm relatively tall. Okay? If I went and stood next to a bunch of NBA players, I would be relatively short. So it can also be about comparison. Thoughtful. Thoughtful has a suffix, full, meaning full of, just like grateful does. I didn't talk about it, but grateful, thoughtful. If you are thoughtful, you are full of thought. You think a lot about other people. You're very considerate. You take time to think about how things affect other things, how you affect other people. You don't do things quickly or impulsively. You're very thoughtful, careful even. And then relative, we already talked about. So that's all of our words. Okay, I'm going to go through the first few sentences, and I'm not going to write the answers. I'm not going to write the sentence. I'm going to write down the things in that sentence that I think are clues to help you figure out which one of those words would belong in the blank. So, number one, having his own books to read at camp kept Mark from getting blank. So it must be some kind of a feeling if Mark is getting it. Okay, so one, it's a feeling. That's a clue. And another clue is that he's at camp. Okay? You don't write these down. You don't write the clues down. You are writing one of these words in the blank for number one. But I'm telling you that these words can help you figure it out. Okay? So he's away from home and it's a feeling. Number 2, Mr. Cook's donation of 100 books to the town library was very blank. Okay, so it was a donation, which means he gave it. So it has something to do with giving. And 100 books sounds like a lot. Okay. So those are the clues for number 2. Number 3, a library boat takes books to Uncle Nico. A blank of mine in Finland. I think the clue here is that he is Uncle Nico. Uncle Nico. Number 4, a camel must be very blank to carry 400 pounds of books. Okay. £400 of books is a clue. I don't think that a camel could be tired, right? That's heavy. He's doing work. So this particular camel needs to be, he needs to have some kind of thing going on with him that allows him to do some work. Okay, number 5, this cheerful book will get rid of blank thoughts. So on that one, they gave you an antonym. So an opposite word, they gave you the antonym of, well, they gave you the antonym of the word you're going to write. The antonym was cheerful. You're looking for the opposite of that. Number 6, the residents are blank for the workers who bring them books. Well, they're receiving books, bring them books, so it's almost like a gift. Okay, number 7, it was blank of the librarian to save that book for Soren. So the librarian did a nice thing, okay? If someone does a nice thing for you, there's probably a feeling that goes along with that. Okay, context clues.